Hey, Jen Hamlin here, and this is all things 80s and 90s cartoons. Oh boy, am I going into one of the worst cartoons of all time. One cartoon that I have regret watching when I grew up in the 80s. I'm talking, of course, about the new adventures of Bee and Cecil. Now, before you decide to stick the pitchfork at me, I have no grievances whatsoever about the original Bee and Cecil in the 1960s. In fact, I would like to explain a little bit about the show with a little history lesson. Bean and Cecil was first created by Bob Clampett. And for those who are Looney Tunes fans or Melly Melodies, you pretty much know that Bob Clampett is a pretty big guy in the Warner Bros. Studio, since he's the one who created the other Looney Tunes characters like Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, and many more. After he left Warner Bros., he decided to make his own TV show, starting with Time for Being, a puppet show that gains a lot of popularity. In fact, Albert Einstein seems to be a big fan of the show, which pretty much props a couple years later in the animated show Animaniacs and in the segment Pinky and the Brain, Einstein and the kids has been superly excited to see their favorite TV show Time for Meeting. So the guys have been making a callback to that show big time. From 1949 to 55, Time for Beating has been a popular show until it finally evolved into an animated show, Being Cecil, which became part of the ABC primetime debut on January 6, 1962. It follows the adventure of a cheerful, good-hearted young boy, Beanie, with his beanie propeller hat, and his best friend, Cecil the C6 Sea Serpent, brave and very gullible. Alongside with Beanie's uncle, Captain Huff and Puff, they traveled around the world searching for treasure. But at the same time, they had to be on the lookout for the villain, Dishonest John. And this show has quite a bit of satire reference from current events in the 60s to personalities that adults find it to be entertaining. And of course, a whole mess of puns. Oh boy, the puns, which is something that we can all relate to. Now, some of the plots of remarks are recognizable as lampoons and whatnot, and it kind of follow alongside with both the Jetsons and the Flintstones as one of the first three colored television series on the ABC television network. Bee and Cecil ran for 26 episodes until the show has been revived in 1988, where this whole situation started. Oh boy. Now, this is where this whole mess started. The new adventure of Bee and Cecil was picked up by Deke Entertainment, but the one who is running the show and whatnot, who is producing and directing, was John Kay. Yep, the John Kay. He is the creator of Ren and Stimpy, but there's a whole nasty things going on with this dude. And I wish I could tell you more about him, but I'm going to have to give that to Saber Spark, since he done the research on him and he can explain everything about how this whole situation started. So I'll leave the link on the comment to so you guys can see how this whole thing started with him. So yeah, go check out Saber Spark when you have the time. John Kay was a fan of Bob Clampett. In fact, he pretty much considered him his friend. Oh boy, if Clampett has lived long enough to see what he done to his boys, he would have flipped. Sadly, he passed away 4 years before the premiere of this awful show. The production was terrible. The more that ABC trying to soften the show, the more that John Kay pushes for shock values and offensive material. The animation style keeps changing from each episode, so We don't know if this is like the original one or they changed to another animator. It's been all messed up from the get go, and you could thank John K for that. And the and it's not really funny. It really isn't. The execution for the comedy, it really isn't. It really is not that funny at all. I mean, in the 60s, I always laugh whenever I see Dishonest John or Cecil get blown up or get shredded so many times that I laugh my pants off. But in the 80s, on the other hand, it's just isn't funny. The execution was off. And for their jokes, it's not even funny at all. And to prove my point, I'm going to be playing both clips where Dishonest John get ravaged by an animal. Let's watch, shall we? And then you can compare the difference.
Oh, he sees me. Now I'm really out on a limb. Guys!
Now take the tiger to the nice man who's waiting by the tree.
I'm on my way.
That painting will make me rich.
Hey, DJ. I guess I'm supposed to give you this.
So only airs for 5 episodes until ABC has had enough with his shenanigan. They cancel it completely and replace it with the Flintstones Kids. Now, there were a total of 8 episodes, but after all that shenanigan going on with him, they refused to air it at all. So, if you even want to be able to see any of these unair episodes, they might be on YouTube or they might be somewhere in the archive. Who knows? I know that there are worse cartoons out there in the 80s and the 90s. And being a little kid I was pretty sharp to know which cartoon was really bad, and being Cecil was one of them. So if you want my advice, just don't watch the 1980s being Cecil. Do yourselves a favor, watch the 1960s version. You'll be doing yourselves a huge favor. And John K., if you happen to be watching this, well, consider this one thing. I may like Ren and Stimpy, and I like Caesars 1 and 2, but all in all, you have practically destroyed a great legacy of being Cecil, and you better believe I ain't gonna forgive you for this. Hopefully, in the next episode, I might be able to put in like a good review for the next cartoon, but in this one, I'm not. And as Cecil once said at the end of the episode,
See ya!